Here we go, guys. It may finally be happening. 12 years, 8 years, whatever number you want to use, of behind the curtain trickery and pulling the strings of leaders, of voters, of congressmen, senators, judges. The Obama machine may finally be crashing down. Now, apparently, Pam Bondi has just announced that they are convening a federal grand jury to investigate the files handed over by Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard and FBI Director Kash Patel regarding the Trump-Russia treasonous conspiracy. Now, what does this mean? Are FBI officers getting ready to go storm the houses of Obama and Clinton and all these people? No, that's not what's happening. So first off, let's talk about what a grand jury is. So a federal grand jury is basically a secret group of picked people off the voter roll. So if you're convening the grand jury in New York, it's going to be people off the voter roll in New York. If you're convening it in D.C., it's going to be people off the voter roll in D.C. So you get 16 to 23 people in a room, and over the course of a month to a year, you present evidence. And it is their job to determine whether or not there is sufficient fact in question to hand down an indictment. We saw this earlier this year when there was a secret grand jury and a sealed indictment for Abrego Garcia on human trafficking and smuggling out of Tennessee. Now, the first thing to remember is this could take a while. Just because this has been announced doesn't mean they are starting today. Doesn't mean they're starting this month. This is the kind of thing that we might not hear about anything for another 6 months. Like I said, a grand jury can be impaneled from a month to a whole year. So this is going to be a while. And like I've said in previous videos, we have no precedent for this type of thing. We've never had a treasonous act like this before. Now, like I said earlier, the purpose of a federal grand jury is to decide whether or not there's probable cause to believe that a federal crime has been committed. So I think it's, if we look at the face of everything, it does seem like they'll probably be able to find probable cause. The question is going to become, what are the charges that they're going to be indicted on? Who is going to be indicted? We've already seen President Trump say that he believes Obama has immunity. So this is going to be a big test on presidential immunity if this kind of thing happens. Now, what's going to be going on in that room? Are we going to be able to watch? No. Federal grand juries and any grand jury is behind closed doors. No one knows what goes on in that room with the exception of the people in the room. The jurors, the attorneys for the government. There is no cross-examination in a grand jury. The witnesses and the court staff, and that's it. Sometimes attorneys for the other side can be there, but they're not allowed to cross-examine. They're not allowed to ask questions. They aren't even allowed to put on a case. Now, one thing to remember is evidence that the prosecution can let the grand jury know about might not be admissible evidence. So if you've got pure hearsay, something that will never be able to see the light of day in a courtroom, you could still use that hearsay to get the indictment. So I think that's actually a good thing here. I think this allows for a little more evidence to enter into the light. Some that my guess would be some of these judges are going to fight hard to make sure it cannot be entered into the actual courtroom. Now, how does the decision get made? Well, you need a quorum of the grand jury. In order for the grand jury to vote on the indictment, you have to have a quorum. You need to have 16 grand jurors there, and you need to have a majority vote for indictment. Their decision is confidential. This is going to be a very interesting next 6 to 7 months, is my guess. I do not think this is the sort of thing that gets rushed. I know that one thing that's going to happen is we're going to probably go a month, maybe 2, without hearing anything, and people are going to start freaking out. They're going to say, Pam Bondi's bearing evidence, Kash Patel doesn't know what he's doing, all this stuff. It's important to remember that this stuff takes time. This isn't the kind of thing that you can just write an order and say, there, you're done. The process has to be followed, because if you don't, then they get to do what they did in 2020 through 2024. They get to put our politicians in jail. They get to put our citizens in jail. And they can say, well, you didn't follow the process, so we don't have to either. We have to be better than them. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to comment below. Let me know what you think. I'm very curious what y'all think are the odds of any of this happening. Do you think everyone gets arrested? Do you think no one gets arrested? Do you think we get one scapegoat? That's kind of what I think. We're going to get a handful of scapegoats, and that's going to be it. But I'd love to hear what y'all have to say. Don't forget to like, subscribe. I'll see y'all next time.